world is crumbling into chaos. And as everyone just lies around waiting for it to happen, pretending nothing is going on. I may see dead people, but I also see a lot of idiots out in the world. Everyone just sits around waiting for something to be done. But there's a problem. When everyone just sits around and lies and waits, nothing ever gets done. The idiots running the world, the idiots tearing it apart, will drive us into chaos. That's the way I see it. Just give it time. You all see for yourself that history is about to be made. Hello everyone, I'm back! Today is February 17th, 2015. I hope you all had a very good Valentine's / President's Day weekend. Lots of fun, lots of nasty things going on at nowhere. 50 Shades. Oh my god, girl! People pretend to get their dildos out in the middle of the theater while watching 50 Shades. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, 50 Shades, blah blah. Oh man, it's been a while. I'm not doing this enough as I should. And I do apologize. I've been spending the last few weeks, and we'll be spending the next month putting together some final preparations for a big, huge, amazing, exciting, amazing, not so romantic. Okay, any Adam Sandler fans, shout out if you know the reference. No, seriously, I do have a very exciting trip coming up that I am honestly very nervous for, being that the country I am visiting, for some odd reason, Trans-Asia Airlines seems to keep crashing. I hope that doesn't happen to my flight, but anyway, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm not going to be doing as many of these as I probably should, just so I can make some final preparations with my group so we can finally take off for China. I can't believe it. We've made it. We've made it this far. We're seeing the home stretch. Everything's finally coming together. Speaking of travels, this episode I kinda wanted to talk a bit about the planet Mars. Why Mars, you say? That kinda steps outside the boundaries of what I've been talking about in previous shows. Guess what? It's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Woohoo! I don't have any major producers or none of that crap nagging at me, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't think I marked this episode as explicit content. I don't remember. Anyway. No, just, planning my trip to China, and for some reason, my thoughts keep tracing back to Mars. I am not exactly sure why that keeps happening, but it is. And honestly, for all of science the goals science seems to have lately, or private ventures, or whatever method they decide to go with. You know, Mars One, for example. The goal seems to be to, as Buzz Aldrin would say, get your ass to Mars. And as I keep saying every time, I want to, but my ass won't fit on the spaceship. Yeah, when Mars One first started announcing applicants, I actually thought about applying at the time it first came out. But I did a little bit of research, and it turns out there's a height limit on space travel. And for those of you who don't know, I am 6'7", 350-ish pounds. I'm not exactly too sure. So that kind of kills that adventure unless I were to build my own fucking ship or to hijack a UFO. That option has been That option has been evaluated, has been considered. That I probably will do if I ever get a chance. Anyway, what is it about Mars? Honestly. What is it about the fascination with Mars? When you think about it, we don't really have... When you think about it, most of space travel, especially in the earlier days, have some sort of reference to Mars. For quite some time now, we've had a fascination with Mars. Why is this? And of course, you do a little research through the almighty Google. You do a little search through almighty Google, you can find that there are an interesting amount of similarities between the Martian environment, especially how models are suggesting early Mars was like some billion years ago, and how life here on Earth is. Now, if you look through mainstream science, UFOlogy, paranormal, conspiracy theory, when it comes to Mars, there seems to be one basic concept that everybody seems to agree upon. And that is, Mars, at one point, was a lot like Earth today. But something happened to make it the big giant red desert that we know it is today. Also, the latest news about the lava, the mysterious plumes popping up on Mars like fucking zits lately, that also kind of jogs my mind a bit. Because when you think about it, just from the mainstream science point of view, there are a lot of similarities. There is a lot of evidence that suggests that at one point, Mars may have had a significant water source. Enough to where some form of life, by our expectations, could have been formed. Now, of course, I also preach the idea that, and there are several species on Earth that back me up on this, DNA, RNA, we on a molecular level, our DNA has somehow is able to change itself over time, mutations. And there are species that have actually figured out ways to adjust their themselves at a molecular level. Squids, they can operate on their RNA in order to adjust to the environment. My theory is that a lot of older species that were actually able to do this, and possibly on some level, that ability still exists in us today. We just don't know exactly how the fuck it works. Or we just haven't quite figured out the gadgets needed. I would imagine it would take a lot of juice, it would take a lot of planning. Well, that's just the beginning. So now, we have all these plans to go to Mars, go to Mars, go to Mars. In fact, there's a few ideas being tossed around here, out there about inhabiting Venus, of all places. But instead of making contact with the ground, we would actually build floating civilizations and live amongst the atmosphere. Considering it rains acid on Venus, that might be... we might want to settle high above the atmosphere. But still. But back to Mars. Now, if we go with a lot of theory, and there's a lot of this being posted around online, that there are mysterious, let's call them formations, on the surface of Mars that actually resemble many objects like here on Earth. Now, of course, these could easily be ordinary rocks that eroded in a funny way. That's basically the explanation NASA's been giving. And unlike the explanations the official reports say for the JFK assassination, that actually makes scientific sense. But let's put in a little imagination here. See, right now, Mars is uninhabitable. For some reason, it is widely believed that for some reason, the atmosphere of Mars depleted a long time ago, and it is a very strong fear that for our own planet. So maybe by studying whatever the hell happened on Mars, we can figure out what the hell is happening here on Earth, and we can find a way to reverse it before essentially history repeats itself. Now, of course, being the movie buff, being the kind of occasional gamer that I am, I cannot help but think of the really, really nasty situations that come up when Mars is in question. The big one with me, the Doom franchise. Yes, I play Doom. I love Doom. I've been trying to find out ways to put it on my freaking Android tablet so I could play it while waiting on certain individuals in my family. Or maybe while I'm waiting for the planes when I go to China. You know, just something for me to do, you know? Stuff like that. Now, of course, here's what I've been thinking. Now, it has been scientifically observed that celestial objects, when they are in orbit, there are times when the gravitational orbit kind of gets thrown out of whack. Say a huge ass asteroid, or just in the way it spins around the Earth. The Earth spins around the Sun, for example. That tends to throw it out of whack, but eventually it tries to correct itself. In fact, it's only I can't remember the exact statistics, but there's only once in every few years we actually get a perfect circle. So some of the years we have fucked up winters, our planet ended up getting just a little thrown out of the normal range. Or respected, or particularly warm years, you know? Our orbit does get thrown out of whack, but eventually it kind of corrects itself. So, my idea, and I'm pretty sure that somebody's already thought of this, but I'm just going to say that I thought of this for the sake of argument. If somebody else thought of this and you happen to be listening, I do apologize. But I just wanted to try to talk about this a bit. My idea is that somehow Mars's orbit didn't correct itself like we see Earth's orbit do every few years. I believe it's like a few times every decade, I don't remember. Maybe there was something affecting gravitational pulls to make it weaker. Maybe there was enough of an asteroid hit from another planet that caused it to nudge just right to where the atmosphere would have a hard time maintaining itself. And that quickly caused a global catastrophe. Of course, there's also theories that Mars experienced some form of nuclear war. That is also a possibility, but the truth is, we will not know. And this is why I fully support space travel. Go to any planet, go to the moon, go to the sun, if we found some way to do it. Go to Mercury, go to Venus, go to Jupiter, go to Mars, go to Pluto, go to Charon, go to another freaking galaxy. I fully want to see humanity do that sometime during my lifetime because of this very fact. Machines can only tell us so much about what is going on until we are able to get boots on the ground. I have a feeling that this is going to be a lesson I'm going to learn about with stereotypes surrounded by China, out of all places. But until we get boots on the ground, until we can get people who actually see the surface of Mars, not in pictures, not in video from the rovers, but in person, until we can get that to happen, we don't know jack shit. Personally, I like to follow a certain philosophy. You know, hearing, reading, and seeing souvenirs from amazing experiences is fine. You know, we should all take time out of our day to try to learn more about our world, learn more about our cosmos, learn more about the universe, learn more about how the way things actually work. But true knowledge, true wisdom cannot come from that. That's education. Education is taking time out of your day to study it. Wisdom is seeing it up close and personal. Studying it as it is happening right in front of your very eyes. Wisdom comes from personal experience. Knowledge can come from reading a book. Now, reading a book is fine. I'm more for going out and seeing everything for myself. So, I've been trying to do this, especially now with China, because I have just learned that some of the things associated with China are complete bullshit by sources who supposedly were knowledgeable about the subject. So, people are like, oh, you shouldn't visit a communist country. Well, you know what? Asian culture is about respect. That's all it is. It's about respect. And if you don't follow respect, you get your ass whooped. That is something apparently Americans don't understand. It's like, no, for some reason, I've been seeing this a lot lately, and it's really, really, really pissing me off. People are going to think that, oh, he's some dumbass American fucking around over there. I was like, hell to the fuck no. What I am going to do is I am going to try to have fun, of course. I got to have fun. I'm over in a country that I'm going to be in a country I never thought I'd get to see in person. But I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to try to learn about the culture while I am there. Hearing about it from other sources, thinking that because it is a communist country, that it's going to be so freaking strict. No, that's just fucking racist. It really is. It really is. Assuming that a certain person does a certain thing because of their background. Now, of course, this is why stereotypes exist, and some of them aren't so bad. I'm just going to say it right now. But when it comes to the mix, like Asian cultures, like people meaning from a little old city, and they happen to look Asian, and people are automatically assuming that is because of the strict rules. I'm going to call this out right now. That's just racist. You know what? It's North Korea that we got to worry about. That's the one that's causing problems. China, not so much. You know, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try to be respectful. And I think we should ought to do that with aliens if we ever were to meet. The Dalai Lama agrees. Once we start the way I honestly see it, when we start trying to define each other, trying to put labels on each other to prove that we are different, rather than acknowledging that we are exactly the same, just we might have a few different shapes. Shit, where was I going with that? Anyway, once we start defining those labels, yes, I'm back on the right track. Once we start creating those labels about each other, no matter what the race, gender, sexual orientation, when we start creating those, that is when we create problems. Now, if we just find a way to get rid of those and just simply enjoy each other as people, we might be able to move along. And I honestly think, going back to space travel, we need to figure this out before we go to Mars. Because if we start hating on each other by the time we start shipping people off in spaceships, the elements of the Martian environment aren't going to be what kill us. We're going to be stabbing our own asses. So anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about. And now, just so I have more, there's a few announcements I would like to make really quick. Are there any narrators or audiobook producers out in the audience? Well, if there are, look in the description. I am actually holding auditions to help create audiobooks, to take my books and put them into audiobook format. And with this, we will be able to, and if you will decide to do this, your voice will be sold on iTunes, Amazon, and Audible. More details about what each would entail will be in the links. So check at the bottom of the description. The bottom of the description. Look now. Look now. Do it. Look. Look. And you'll see for yourself. As for this show, I'm thinking about doing kind of an author's audio blog, audio journal, something like that. Something to talk about, having to, putting together your own books. Because I know there's a lot of people out here that will have potentially amazing stories, but don't have the right resources to put everything together. I think I might start using this show as a bit of a method to do that. I'm not exactly sure. There's still more planning coming in. Now, also, I have also opened up an online store. The link is in the description. It is in the description of several places you can buy my stuff. I am trying to raise a little bit more money before I go to China. And plus, I'm offering special bundles, special versions of my books, all sorts of cool little goodies. Just click on the link. It should be a square store. You know those little free readers that you can sometimes get online? You sometimes see on like television or maybe on the radio? You know those? Yeah, I got one of those. So, go in the link. It should be in the description. Go into the description. Go into the description. Now, as always, I hope you all have an amazing week. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you all have an amazing adventure. Stay badass, my friends, and I shall see you next time. Now, what are you doing? Don't you leave this episode right quick. Go to the description and check out all the links. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, Spreaker, all this good shit. Do it now. Get the description. Look at the description. Look at the description. Don't you look at me. Don't you give me that tone. Don't you click out of the browser. Don't you dare do that. Look in the description. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You do it. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now, or I will haunt you tonight in your dreams. I will cut you up with a chainsaw in your dreams. If you do not like us on Facebook, Twitter, all that good shit, do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Go in the description. Go to the description. Go to the description. Bye-bye. Have an awesome day. Go to the description. Check us out. Check out my store. Check out my books. Check out everything I made. Check out the website. Check out the awesome stuff. Check it out, check it out. Go in this description. Check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. Go to the description. Go to the description. Go to the description. Bye. Have a wonderful day. Go to the description.